Well, you mentioned disappointment in the NFL, and obviously some of the immediate storylines that come to mind are the Dallas Cowboys and Cleveland Browns, who most people had both of them making the playoffs. Some even had both of those teams in the Super Bowl, and yet they don't even make the postseason. But there are other disappointments as well, and one of them is still playing, and that would be the New England Patriots. Now, maybe they'll right the ship and have some great unforeseen postseason run that nobody hardly expects. But right now, coming off a bad loss to the Miami Dolphins in Foxborough, no less, this is a game, Rob, that they really needed to win. Obviously, they were already in the playoffs. Obviously, they already had won the AFC East. But what was on the line was a first-round playoff bye. All you had to do was beat the Miami Dolphins, who actually, credit them, they've played fairly well for the second half of the season.
They were terrible to start the year. They were the punching bag. People were putting up 40 and 50 points against them. It was really, really bad. But
check this out, Rob. Over the second half of the season, guess what their record was?
4-4?
5-4.
Unbelievable.
Well, that's a little more than the second half, but think about that.
9 games.
5-4.
It is amazing. And the other team I saw, which was crazy, the Pats were 4-4, I think, in their last 8, Chris.
Yes.
And remember, they all started off, people thought they were going to be undefeated or whatever.
That talk was
crazy,
silly.
even when they were winning the games because they weren't beating anybody. And the Jets, surprisingly, guess what they finished in their last 9?
6-3.
Yes, crazy.
But that still doesn't make your playoff prediction any.
Did I go there?
Right.
Did I go there?
You wanted to.
I didn't.
You wanted to. That's the only reason to bring up the Jets today.
I'm good on my other predictions, and you know it. I'm glad we're working today.
Chargers in the Super Bowl?
No, see, there you go.
Was that not a prediction?
Yes, it was.
All right.
But what about
I'm just saying, slow your roll before you start talking like you Muhammad Ali.
All I'm saying is you got Ravens to win the division. I said no Pittsburgh. I said what was the other team in there? No Browns. And I also said the Cowboys wouldn't make the playoffs. Those are some big ones. And a lot of people, you just said it. People were talking about the Cowboys and the Browns and, what was going to happen for those guys, and none of it happened.
I had both in the playoffs.
Yeah, it was very disappointing. But I agree with you, though. The Patriots and what they did yesterday at Foxborough to lose that game in a must-win, seriously, like for your playoff run to have a bye, Chris, which they would have, and then a home game is huge. It is huge. And they gave it up in the final seconds of the game to Miami, so they have to play a wild card game against the Titans, and then they hit the road.
Playing some good football.
Absolutely,
I thought the Titans would be the team that got that last wild card spot in the AFC. They run the ball like nobody's business, led by Derrick Henry, who led the league in rushing. They're going to be tough. Here's how important, though, Rob. You said it. How important it was for the Patriots to win that game. Here it is by the numbers. The New England Patriots, we know they've reached 9 Super Bowls. They've never reached a Super Bowl, let alone won any of their 6, without a first-round bye. So history tells us they're done. History tells us they have no chance of getting to the Super Bowl or winning it this year. If you believe the history.
Right.
And one more thing, Tom Brady, since 2001, obviously that's the start of his career, 27 and 7 in the playoffs when he has a bye, bye seasons, 3-3 without the bye.
Right, very pedestrian right there. It says a lot. And I'm with you. So you could act like, and a lot of Patriots fans and a lot of guys were on Twitter, and they were like, oh, you can't count the Patriots out and this and that. And the only thing, Chris, you could draw off of their history and act like what happened this year didn't matter. But if you were just honest with looking at where they were, what they did, you can't feel that good. They only beat one team with the winning record, I believe. Wasn't it when they beat what was that, 2 weeks ago? I just forgot the team.
They had a nice win recently against
who was that, Bob G? The Bills. That was the only team they beat.
The Bills twice.
All right, then those their 2 wins.
Yeah.
The Buffalo Bills. But other than that, you go look at who they beat and who they lost. They lost to all the teams that are in the playoffs.
They beat the Steelers with Roethlisberger.
Right, that was early
crushed
on.
them in the first game of the season.
Right, but if you look at most of their wins, it all came against teams.
They beat the Eagles.
And the Eagles finished 8-8. So
9-7.
9-7.
Where are you getting your math?
No, I thought it was.
Your Patriots bias was
no,
showing.
No,
they
no,
beat
no.
one team.
No, two teams. You know why? Because the Eagles were bad all year, and when they beat them, they weren't that good. But you're right, two teams. But I'm saying most of their wins, they piled up. They ate very well, got fat off a lot of bad teams this year. And I know they lost to the Chiefs, and they lost to a couple other good
Texans,
teams. Right.
Yeah.
But I just, and if you look
Ravens,
at
of course.
Tom Brady and you look at this team, that defense yesterday, I mean, you want to say you want to bank on the defense, on what they did yesterday?
That was the irony of it, right? And that's a great point. You said it. They gave up. Like, that's what they live for. Put the game in the hands of our defense, right? Offense will do enough. And Brady, like you said, he didn't have a great game or season by any stretch. But he does lead them. They get the touchdown. They get the lead.
Right, they're up. Right? All they got to do is get a stop.
Yep, and you believe in that defense. And they let Ryan Fitzpatrick.
Who didn't turn it into Fitzpumpkin, right?
It wasn't Drew Brees. It wasn't Lamar Jackson. It wasn't Patrick Mahomes. It was Ryan Fitzpatrick that led the game-winning drive that their defense couldn't stop. So, look, you hit it on the head. There is no way. I can't imagine anyone outside of that locker room feeling good about where the Patriots are right now.
I agree.
And the most diehard Patriots fans have got to be scared. I get the sentiment, and I would agree. I know you'll probably bury them, period. And there's no reason to believe that they're going to make any type of long playoff run except looking at their history. But I will give them that respect. I don't think, look, they're not better than Baltimore. They're not better than Kansas City. They may even get beat. I wouldn't be surprised if they get beat by Tennessee.
Wow.
In the first round.
Are you going to step out there, Chris? Don't hedge.
I don't
step
have to
out
step
there.
out yet. We got a few days yet. Give me some time to think about it and marinate.
But that would make sense, though. Usually when it's all over, it crashes like that. And that would be they lose that game at home, have to play a wild card game, and then they lose, and then people would finally say, okay, but it's all over. You know what I mean? Like this is nothing like what we were used to seeing with the Patriots. And I just don't think. I think it's been a very long run. We already know, but I don't think. I just don't see it. I'm with you. When you look at the other teams that they have to play, they're no cupcakes. They're no cupcakes.
The AFC has gotten it's pretty strong this year. Obviously, I mean, like you said, at best. They're the third best team. And that's not going to be good enough to get out of even the second round.
And they're on the road now. You know what I mean?
Right.
So that's the other part. It's just harder. And you said it, they've never made it. They've never made it to the Super Bowl when they've had to go on the road, right?
What I was going to say, I understand their fans saying, "Look, you can't count us out." I don't know what it is, 1%. 5% chance or whatever to get to the Super Bowl. But I do think you've got to at least leave that little bit of wiggle room.
I'm not doing it,
for
Chris.
them to have some match. Yeah, and I get it because there's nothing we've seen on the field to make us think they can make a run.
Ask me if I think the Patriots going to get to the Super Bowl.
Are the Patriots going to get to the Super Bowl?
No way, no how. And you can book it, Boston, New England. Book it.
That
Stop
was as
it.
predictable
Rob Parker.
As Dwight Howard missing a free throw.
There's certain things in life that you come to expect, Chris. You know it. I'm not buying it. And you know what? I'm not bragging. I'm not bragging. This is proof of performance. On Undisputed on FS1, before the season started, I made a big bet with Skip Bayless, who jumped at it, would jump at it. I bet him that the Patriots would not make it to the AFC Championship game. Forget about making it to the Super Bowl or anything like Chris. I said they wouldn't make it to the AFC Championship game, and I think I'm going to be right on that one. I do not believe it because now they got to win 2 games, and I'm not sure that they can win 2 games.
You will be right on that one. But how is that? How you gonna brag about that?
Why? That's a big. That's
not big.
What? To say that they're not gonna make it to the AFC title game when normally. Hold on. Normally
they got a 42-year-old quarterback.
But if they would have done what they normally do,
their All-Pro, top 100 actually, a tight end in history. They lost them.
But Chris, they still won.
They got no receivers.
They still won 12 games, right? And here's the other part.
But you knew Kansas City was one team.
Well, but
now,
we didn't.
I don't think you thought Baltimore was that good, but
I picked them to win the division, right? But I didn't know they were going to be this good and knock down all the good teams. But my only point is, normally that's a big bet only from this standpoint. Normally they win, right? Have a first round bye, and they only have to win 1 game to get to the AFC Championship game. Do you know what I'm saying? So to say that before the season starts, you got to give me an ounce of credit.
I will give you love on the Ravens. That's a great pick. But I can't. I mean, I don't know. I don't think that's that far out there.
Wow.
With a 42-year-old quarterback. And we talked about it on our show. Because I was like, I didn't say they would make the AFC Championship. I just said, you got to give them a shot. There's no way you write them off.
Right. No,
I'll give you an ounce of credit.
I'll take
because you won your
bet.
You some of your other predictions were better.
Well, I had a couple of them.
Say.
And we're going to talk about it's so much stuff going on with this. But I do believe when they lose in the playoffs, this will be the official death of the Patriots dynasty.
See, that's where I am not. We'll see what they do with Tom Brady. You know, a lot of people think this is his last year.
I think this is his last year. I really do.
If I were them, I wouldn't. I mean, unless you've got a great option, and we talk about it. You've mentioned it all the time. You know, the Colts moved on from Peyton Manning. But they had Andrew Luck.
No, I know. The
Niners moved on from Joe Montana, but they had Steve Young. Unless you love Jarrett Stidham that much, I mean, look, could you go out, if I can go out and get a Teddy Bridgewater, that's not bad. But here's what I would really be looking to do if I'm the Patriots. Because I don't think it has to be the end of the dynasty. If I'm the Patriots, I go out and get some better skilled position players. Because I've said it all year long. Tom Brady is no longer good enough to carry mediocre talent. They've asked him to do that at the skill positions for his entire career, essentially. You know, barring when he had Randy Moss, he got Gronk. But for the most part, they just filled in with mediocre players at the skill position or, you know, slightly above average. And he's made the most out of them. He can't do it anymore at 42.
We saw it. We saw it this year.
Right. He can't. So you either need to move on from Brady, as you suggest, or go get some top-flight skill position players. One or the other. And if they get top-flight skill position players, I still think Brady can be good enough for them to have another run toward the Super Bowl.
I just don't see that at all. I just, I think everybody always believes, okay, well, he can just keep doing it. Father Time is undefeated. And if you watch Brady this year, I'm not saying he can't play at all, and for 42 was pretty amazing, Chris. It really is that he's still out there. But he's not the same quarterback. He just isn't. And there's nothing wrong with that. And I just don't see I just don't see he's never made a Super Bowl appearance when they don't have a first-round bye. And that was when he was younger. And now you're asking him to do that at 42.
Right.
And you're asking him to do it with a defense that at home gave it up, at the end where they really, really needed that game. That was a huge game for the Pats, and they weren't able to win it. I mean,
no doubt.
If that game, we talked about it last week on our show, and I was saying that Miami always seems to win a game from them, but Chris is usually down in Miami.
Yep.
So I wasn't feeling like the Dolphins were going to win that game because I was like, Patriots have too much to lose. It's in Foxborough, so I wasn't buying it. You know what I mean? I really wasn't. Even though the Dolphins always seem to have their number, but this was a big loss for the Patriots. And all over New England, people cannot feel good this morning.